Welcome to AM Best Audio.
As Senior Vice President of Insurance Operations at Philadelphia Insurance Companies, Brent Skiles oversees core processes that directly impact agents, brokers, and policyholders. With a focus on operational excellence and service innovation, he brings a unique perspective on how insurers can make it easier for partners and customers to do business in a complex marketplace. I'm John Weber for Best Review Magazine, and today Brent shares his insights on what ease of doing business really means and how the industry can continue to raise the bar. Brent, so glad you could join us today.
Thank you, John. I'm looking forward to our conversation. Appreciate you having me on.
I'm looking forward to our conversation as well. And from your perspective, what does ease of doing business look like in the insurance industry today, and how has it evolved over the last few years or so?
Sure, absolutely. You know what I think when I think of ease of doing business and I think about how it's evolved, I think about, it started with a lot of conversations around online intake and portals and self-service and a lot of solutions that were not really well integrated, but well intentioned. And I think it started out kind of focused in those areas. But what we've seen over the last several years is it's evolved to more, a focus more on digital interactions, more focus on straight through processing, more focus on reducing the friction in the transaction. And I think even today, it's really evolved even deeper to a shift to connectivity, with API-driven data exchanges and things that really create tighter and more direct connections between brokers and agents and carriers. And I think the couple of areas that came to mind as well, I think as we think about it today, are also that it really keeps the personalized experience on the forefront. And I think it's primarily focused on, spending time and resources where they're really needed and making sure that both the agents and brokers and the carriers are doing things of value to create that ease of doing business.
Brent, how do you balance the need for efficiency and speed with the equally important priorities of underwriting discipline and risk management?
Yeah, thanks, John. I think, in this area, it's something that kind of has been top of our mind as with our recent entrance into the BOP market space and really trying to find that balance of efficiency and speed and making sure that we're, still adhering to the underwriting discipline that we need. And, we want to be a long-term stable partner in that BOP market space, just like we are with our other products. And, therefore underwriting discipline is definitely critical, but we think we can do that by bringing together an easy to use platform, easy to understand appetite, and the ability to bring an expert into the interaction, where needed. And the other tools that we're using kind of across both BOP and our other products include, various models around triaging, prioritization, and risk scoring that we think can bring together the ability to easily identify really identify the areas that risks are ones that we really want to proactively go after and make that available and understood by the agent. And then those instances where that risk may not really allow us to meet our underwriting discipline goals, we want to make that known to the agent as quickly as possible as well, so that they it can be an efficient and effective interaction for them.
Where do you see the biggest opportunities for insurers to simplify processes for brokers, agents, and policyholders for that matter?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity left to continue to simplify intake channels. Certainly, integration of third-party data is something that we all as an industry have talked about for years. I think it's getting better in the more recent years. And I think that being able to combine that and make sure that we're doing a good job at internal reflection on looking at all of the different pieces of information that we're requesting from those agents, brokers, and policy holders to make sure that they're actually relevant to the risk and relevant to actually, underwriting the risk. And so if we can hold ourselves accountable and strip out and simplify the information that we're collecting, ultimately it makes it an easier interaction for those insureds and agents and brokers. And then the second piece of this, I think, is really providing appetite quickly. I think kind of an underwriting first approach to the interaction is going to be critical. Making sure that we can identify those areas where we know that it's something that's highly desirable, and that the agent should potentially put time and effort into it, because we're really looking to be a market for that particular risk. And those instances where it might not be quite as desirable, and we want to make it known to the agent that we may have to do a little bit more work together to get those things done. So being able to set that up in a manner, I think, will really help simplify processes between all of those parties.
Technology plays such a big role in streamlining operations. So, Brent, what innovations are most impactful in creating a more seamless customer and distribution partner experience?
Yeah, John, I'm not a complete technology expert, but I do have a couple of thoughts on that question. I think, the enhanced digital interactions and integrations between carriers and brokers are going to make the overall experience more streamlined and seamless. I think, open API gateways that really allow, much deeper straight through integrations, to get access to appetite and pricing information, or even embedded insurance, I think are areas of opportunity that technology now allows. I also think AI-driven personalization is a big innovation that can really help tailor coverage recommendations. It can help with cross-sell opportunities and provide risk management advice that will really enhance the overall interaction. And then one that we're focused a lot on as well, omni-channel communication. We're doing this within our BOP space, where we're really looking to provide that seamless movement between phone and chat and email and real-time collaboration, so that we can, for both the customers and the agents, we can make sure that if we're in the middle of a chat with them and we need to move to a screen share, we can do that seamlessly and really provide them the service level that meets them where they need it. So if they need to talk to a person, we have someone happy to pick up the phone. If they want a quick, easy self-service solution, we can put them in connection with a chatbot and really make that overall more streamlined.
Are there metrics or feedback mechanisms to gauge whether your organization is truly easy to do business with?
Yes, we use a variety of different mechanisms to try and gauge that. Certainly, one of the areas that we use, which I think is pretty widely used, is a variety of different surveys. So we look at relationship surveys and transactional-based surveys. I think what we try to do is not just collect that, but we really bring that information in to a centralized repository. We put an AI engine over the top of it that can really help determine customer sentiment and patterns within that feedback. And then the most critical part of this is really not just collecting that and understanding how your customers feel about how easy you are to do business with, but finding those areas where you need improvement and actually doing something about it. So we spend time going back to the various business units, partner with them to figure out if it could be a simple process change or putting slightly more authority towards the front of the process to streamline that interaction, make it easier to do business with. Or if it's something more complex, we build it into our overall strategic roadmap. But I think, making sure that you not just collect the feedback, but actually action on it is critical. The other area that we do this with is agent panels. We have a variety of these, but the one I think is most relevant to our conversation today is really the one that's focused on technology. And so we get together a group of our agents, and we have, very direct and conversations with them about what we think we should do, what we would like to do, the technology that we think we should bring. And because they're such good partners, they provide us very direct feedback back and allow us to iterate with them on those solutions, so that we can actually get the technology and frankly the ease of doing business efforts in place that really align with what our agents and brokers want.
As you look ahead, Brent, what do you think will define the next stage of ease of doing business in insurance, and how should carriers prepare?
Yeah, I think a couple of things come to mind for this. Certainly, the combination of people and AI, I think, is going to be critical in defining the next stage of ease of doing business, especially when you think about things like agentic AI and the ability for it to empower and kind of supercharge, if you will, what people will be able to do. I think that's definitely going to be one of the defining factors of the next stage. As far as other areas and things that carriers can do to prepare, I think getting your team up to speed on AI is critical, and really trying to help them understand what it can and can't do. It sort of breaks down the walls and the barriers of AI, and I don't just mean technology folks or transformation folks or operational folks, but we really mean people across the organization. We're really trying to empower them to understand it, to learn about it, and really find it to be what we think it is, which is a tool to help empower them to deliver more value. A couple of other things that I think are important in this area too are, you've got to get your data right. It's not the world's most exciting topic, but the reality is things like data governance, having your data in an ecosystem in which you can actually access it, is going to be critical, because you need that to be able to empower the technology that's coming online. And then finally, and certainly I think the most important for us here at Philly, is really focusing on the relationship component. All the technology in the world is great, but we think that there's a very strong place in the future of ease of doing business for the relationship part of insurance. And so really making sure that we're being mindful of that when we're bringing solutions to our agents, brokers, and insureds, to make sure that we're allowing for that relationship, that expertise component, the value of collaboration, while we're also looking to streamline things and be easier to do business with.
Great advice. Brent, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it as always.
That was Brent Skiles, Senior Vice President of Insurance Operations at Philadelphia Insurance Companies. And I'm John Weber for Best Review Magazine. Looking to get the full attention of the insurance industry? We have the platforms that will do just that. Whether it be AM Best TV, AM Best Audio, Best Review Magazine, or Best Day. Find out more by calling AM Best Advertising Sales at 908-439-2200, extension 5399, and have a great day.